When it comes to reforming Washington and taking on the bureaucracy, I'm telling you, because I've seen him, he's tough as hell. Luther is your man. Luther Strange is determined to drain that swamp.
President Trump in campaign mode, stumping for Alabama Senator Luther Strange.
Joining us now is the candidate himself, Senator Luther Strange of Alabama. Senator, good to have you with us. I know it was a big night last night.
It was a fantastic night. The packed house in Huntsville, Alabama, to welcome the president back to Alabama. And I could not be more grateful for his friendship, first of all, and for the time he took out of an unbelievably busy schedule to come to Alabama and talk about why he wants me to join him in Washington to drain the swamp and get his agenda passed.
So what do you say to critics who say you are part of that swamp? You are Mitch McConnell's guy. You are exactly what we don't need in Washington. You've heard from a lot of critics, many folks on the right side, people that have supported Trump, who are now for Roy Moore, your opponent, who is now ahead, I think, by 8 points in Real Clear Politics. What do you say to the critics?
Oh, I think this is as the president said it better than anyone. He said, he pointed out that I just met Mitch McConnell a few months ago. I've been in Washington less time than Donald Trump has. This is an agenda, and the president said it flat out. I'm being saddled with Mitch McConnell because there's a lot of people out there that have an agenda against him, and they're going to try and use me as some sort of a symbol of that. But I'm the newest person to be in Washington, and I've got the record of draining the swamp, taking on the establishment. So I'm sticking with the president, and I'm so glad he stuck with me last night. I think it's going to make all the difference in this race.
Senator, if this health care bill repeal in place does not pass, would you have faith in Mitch McConnell continuing as Senate Majority Leader with now twice a bill going down and an inability to bring his caucus around? If it didn't pass, would you have confidence in him?
Well, I've said all along that if we don't get things progressing in Washington, we'll look at every option, whether we need new leadership, whether we need a new approach. I talked to the president about that. We've got to get things done. The frustration level's through the roof, and I'm the most frustrated person out there, believe me.
Senator Griff here, I want to ask you, how confident are you that you can close what is now an 8-point gap in the polls? And what does it say that at this critical juncture, as Pete talks about health care, tax reform is up next, that we're having a primary play out where members of president's former staff supporting your opponent, Judge Roy Moore?
Well, I made a joke in the debate the other night. It seems like a lot of my opponents come from the White House unemployment line. There's other agendas out there that are national. I'm new to the national scene. I think I've become sort of a proxy for other people's agendas. This race will turn out. I'm confident it will turn on the turnout. Who gets their voters out to the polls? People of Alabama love the president. I think his strong statement in support of me last night will sort of remove these outside agendas and get people focused on who they really want in Washington. I feel great going into the election.
Well, there's no doubt, Senator,
that
the president's support has shown a hidden base of support that has made a lot of polls and pollsters wrong. But you talk about the White House unemployment line. You're clearly referring to Steve Bannon, Sebastian Gorka, some conservatives who have left this White House and now support your opponent, Roy Moore, as well as Sarah Palin, Mark Meadows, the chairman of the Freedom Caucus, Ben Carson. Why have these conservatives, because you're a conservative and so is Roy Moore, why have these conservatives decided to line up behind him? Do they feel like he's more of an outsider?
No, I think it's all about Mitch McConnell and a national agenda, power between competing groups. And it's kind of like I actually had a conservative leader say, look, this has nothing to do with you. This is all about Mitch McConnell, which is what my grandmother used to say, a classic example of cutting off your nose to spite your face. I've got the most conservative record of accomplishment, as the president repeated time and again last night. That's what's so ironic about this. My opponent would ultimately be an obstructionist and not advance the president's agenda.
Well, I'd love to hear your side of the story, because one of the lighthearted moments last night, the president was telling people how you met, why he is supporting you, why he calls you, what is it, Big Luther Strange, because you're so tall. and he told us about how you, when he was asking for your support for him and for the health care bill, you said you weren't convinced yet, that you wanted him to take basically all the members of your family out to breakfast, to lunch, to dinner, out on a picnic somewhere. And then later, I guess you said that you would support him either way. You were just playing with him. What is your side of that story?
Well, it seems like everybody that he talked to asked him for something. They wanted to go somewhere or have tickets to this or go see a movie at the White House or something. He called me and I said, Mr. President, I'm with you. You don't need to give me anything. I'm not asking you for anything. I don't. And he said, that's the first time that's ever happened to me. Everybody always wants something from me. And this guy's so cool that he doesn't want anything. He wants to just do the right thing and support what we're trying to do in Washington. So we hit it off. And really this was based on our sharing the same views on the issues, but also a personal friendship. And I can't thank the president enough.
Well, it's going to be a big election. We're going to be watching Tuesday, two conservatives going at it. And you're right, it really is a referendum on the Senate Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. We'll see what happens there. Senator Luther Strange, thank you very much.
Great to have you with us. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.